I bid you all good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia. Okay, guys, well, there's been a big confusion in what's happening in Sydney, Australia when it comes to the housing market, or in Australia, New South Wales. There's been a lot of problems right now with housing. A lot of people are messaging me saying that houses are going up. Price of housing is skyrocketing right now. So the confusion could be, one, it could be a lot of foreign investing dumping back into Australia, and we've seen a lot of the crumbling of the Australian dollar and declines in some suburbs have made it more attractive for investors to return. That could be one thing. There's a couple of things floating around, but this article kind of from that's yesterday's article. So this is yesterday's article, okay? And this one's kind of important because it actually it's more of an advertising to buy, even though it's from the Daily Mail. And you like it. I love it how the mainstream media is always on the side of real estate. They have to be on the side of real estate as a plus to make it look like it's a good thing. Why? Because I think like 70-80% of Australia's economy is backed by housing, right? A majority of it is backed by housing. So how are they going to get their economy or GDP growing if they're not selling homes, right? That's why the prices of homes just need to keep going up to sustain this Ponzi scheme. And in Australia, a majority of people are out of reach. And I've been covering this Australia housing crisis for about 5 years now. It goes way back in time. It's gotten so bad. My Australian housing analysis and going through numbers and kind of figuring things out and talking to people on the ground, many guests, many hundreds of guests from Australia, I'm starting to realize that they're deleting my Australian videos. I don't know why. What's the big deal of some guy who can't read, who's a Portuguese, who lives in Canada, that's in a small town that nobody even knows, that's talking about Australian housing? What do I know? You know what I'm saying? So this little article here is a little bit of tidbit of information. So again, it's by the Daily Mail. So buy now. Homes in some Sydney's most sought-after suburbs see price drops of up to 500,000 Australian dollars. That's about $390,000 US. When you see a drop like that, that means we are in a crash situation. We are crashing. Okay? So this is from last December to this December. You're seeing that much of a crash. That is a crash, people. Not buy now. Why? Because they want to get more suckers into the market. Because houses are severely overpriced. $500,000? Yeah, call me up when it's at an $800,000 decline. Then we'll talk. SA. But see, this is it. Buy now. Homes in... Why do they word it like that? Why are they wording it like this is the greatest opportunity of a lifetime? Some of the city's most livable suburbs saw prices fall in six-figure range. In Woollahra, and median house prices fell $501,887 in December to December. So in the year to December. So that's in a 12-month span, houses fell 501,000. Somebody's on the hook for that 501,000. Do you understand, people? Somebody lost their shirt for that 501,000. They're trying to sell and recoup what they can, but they're still going to be on the hook for 501,000, provided they didn't tap into their equity and use their homes like an ATM machine. Trendy Paddington in Sydney's inner east recorded a drop of at least $228,000. Inner East suburb among a handful of livable suburbs to see six-figure drops. Price drop credited to rate cuts and easing lending restriction to start of 2019. So now they're saying rate drops credited to rate cuts and easing lending restrictions at the start of 2019. What? Easy lending restrictions. Prices should be skyrocketing because people should be jumping into these houses easier with 3 rate cuts. You got to give me a break here, guys. Like this, it does not make sense. Properties in some of the best suburbs have registered a six-figure drop in the past year, according to a new report. So, guys, you see this house? This is like a townhouse. Like, there's another house attached to it. There's a little house, and there's another house attached to it here. This thing sells for like $1 million. People in the States are looking at that and saying, "No, Mike, come on, Mike, don't make it look that bad." Because that's this. I know this is like 70 grand in Louisiana or 40 grand in Louisiana, but yeah, this is how they're living in Australia. Properties in some of the city, we have that. A weak start of 2019 leads to median house prices fall of $501,000 in the Woollahra and eastern suburbs, and $486 in the Cremaroni on the lower North Shore. The suburbs were among a handful ranked at the top 30 livable in Sydney to record significant drops, including Trendy Paddington and Inner East. So here it is. This house, a giant price drop of $501,000. Guys, this house in West Palm Beach, this is small. With a decent sized pool, with a little pool house, honestly, you could pick something like this up for $330 grand. 320, but that's like a bigger home, like 4 or 5 bedrooms. The affluent suburb, which is ranked 15 in terms of nobody cares, drop in $228,000. The same fall was recorded in lower North Shores and Northbridge. Most men, according to the property website's house price report, while the median drops in Carnoola in the city's south was $477,000. So why are they telling people this is the time to buy when prices might go? Sorry, guys, I'm sick. Everybody's sick again. This is the 6th time I'm sick in like 2 months. Anyways, yeah. So this is what's happening. Another top 100 suburbs livable. So here it is. So these are the suburbs drop. Okay, 500 to 1,000. Woollahra. Cremaroni, $486,000. Cronulla, $477,000. Paddington, $228,000. Mosman, $228,000. Northbridge, $228,000. Sutherland, $100 large. Caringbah, $100 large. Gaynama, $119,000. Kogarah, $175,000. Mortadella, $166,000. Northbridge, look. Guys, these houses in Atlanta is nowhere in and around 100 grand. People shouldn't be, there's a price drop of 228. No, this is worth 228. I don't care where the location is. Why? Because it all boils down to income. What do people make in Australia? Well, I could tell you right now, for every dollar of disposable income an Australian has, they owe $2.08. So I heard Finland or Switzerland is like $2.88 for every disposable income. I think it was Finland or Switzerland, one of those countries. Canada's around $2. So this is a bunch of garbage. Like, why are they telling people buy now? No, you don't buy now. You keep watching it drop. But yeah, you're going to see a bunch of foreign investors come in and swoop in, and it's just they're going to take that. Let them take it. Let them take it and choke on their inventory. Let them choke on stock. So here it is. From the domain, Sydney's most livable suburbs see 6-figure price. Data shows. Same article. Basically, same poop, different pile. And it goes into right here. Okay, recorded December quarter. It's the same article. So 10.2% fall. So there's a lot of people asking me to apologize to the people in Sydney area for telling them not to buy. I should apologize to them. Like, look at these smaller towns. Housing in this area like this, should be no more than 300 grand for a 4 or 5 bedroom. No more. A 2-bedroom apartment above one of these little stores here. A store with a 2-bedroom apartment should be like 220, 190, 220. That's what it should be. Why? Again, wages. Wages drives. Wages are supposed to be driving real estate. When there's job losses and stuff in the Commonwealth, when there's job losses and stuff, and usually the price of housing starts to follow and starts to crash. But the Commonwealth, Canada especially, and Australia and New Zealand, they're pushing for more wealthy investors. Canada's competing with wealthy investors all the time, right? So if you go here, right here is an article from 2016. And they're pushing it hard. Canada wants more Chinese workers, students, and tourists. But, okay, Mike, that sounds like a plan. 500,000 per year. Canada wants to compete for lucrative, wealthy investors. Plain and simple. But it's not just Canada. Australia's doing it. Everyone's doing it to keep their economies afloat. Why? Because their housing is backed on their housing is pegged to their economy. Plain and simple. Buoyant housing market at odds with weak economy. Oh, are they finally starting to, kind of throw that out there and say, you know what? We got a weak economy and it's looking weak? Are they actually going to admit they're in a recession right now? Commonwealth Bank said its survey of home buying intentions had reached record high. So here it is. Would housing be immune to forces slowing the economy, and where does all this optimism suggest about property in 2020? So again, it's going to go back to how many wealthy investors they could get into the country to bid on homes that are realistically worth a quarter of what they're selling for. Plain and simple. Again, sales across Sydney suburbs on the rise as confidence returns to the market. So this is from yesterday. The number of properties being sold across Sydney is back on the rise, while sales in one suburb up to a staggering 244% in just 1 year, new data shows. So if you're seeing this, you're seeing these huge changes of increases in Box Hill, for example, you are witnessing a melt-up, guys. If you guys want to know what a melt-up is, go to my channel here. That's Trends in the Housing Market. We do discuss this on Trends in the Housing Market a bit, but we also discuss New Zealand and other countries and what's going on in the housing market. You can join us on Trends in the Housing Market every Wednesday live, and we take call-ins. So here it is, guys. So let's go here to housing crisis videos, and I got several hundred of them. New Zealand housing market severely unaffordable. Australia's housing market severely unaffordable. America's looking at negative interest rates. Seniors owe now $4 billion in reserve mortgage debt. And where's my melt-up video? Right here. Housing melt-up, Canada and Australia. Housing melt-up before the crash. This is from about 3 weeks ago. We are witnessing now a melt-up. This is what it is now. It's a melt-up, guys. You're looking at a melt-up, and a lot of other, I guess economists are looking at this. A lot of them were on the wrong side of the fence for the longest time. There's a very few people that are on the right side of the fence warning people. I've been warning people about the Sydney housing. Sydney housing market is going to be the most dangerous game to play. If you go to my channel and type in Sydney, or even type in Australia, look, is Sydney a poop hole? There's all kinds of videos. 10 reasons why I'm leaving Sydney. Sydney is a sad and mean city. Sydney pre-built condo crash urgent. That's from a year ago. Vancouver and Sydney, Australia, brain drain 3 years ago because they're losing people to the housing crisis. Get out of Sydney. That's from 3 years ago. Sydney, Melbourne housing ripoff. What a bunch of ripoffs. People getting screwed over. Sydney condo crash urgent. So things add up over the years, and it's very, very interesting. Sydney's hidden housing price sales. And we got stuff here from the Opal Tower. All kinds of stuff, guys. Fled Sydney to Germany. More Opal Tower fiasco. Look at this. Australia and Melbourne condo, Sydney and Melbourne condo crash. End of housing boom in Sydney. That's from a year ago, and I was throwing that out there. There's ones that go 3, 4, 5, 6 years. There's ones from 2 years ago. Sydney investors in trouble. So what they did, how did they keep this going? Bringing in more wealthy investors. That's the key. The key is to bringing wealthy immigration. It's not people to come in and work. It's people to come in and buy out the country. And we've seen this happening. So, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit me up on PayPal if you like. If you guys want to support me on Patreon, go ahead. And if you guys want to buy something from the store, go ahead and buy something, a nice sweater, a mug, or something. Buy something from a local. And if you want to message me, guys, please message me on here. You could message me directly. I get messages on here directly if you guys want to message me here, okay? If you want to send me a link to an article or something to talk about, or if you just want to come on the show, go ahead and message me here, and we could talk. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Big hug to everybody. Thanks for watching.